So on one hand, we could say we had more people showing up this time, but actually we had better documentation of how many people showed up. That is an enormous amount of people. This is unprecedented. What do we do with 15,000 people who showed up for all of these issues? There wasn't a single one of these issues that didn't have a representation at that march. So what are we going to do with 15,000 people? Suggestions?
Get them to vote.
Get them to vote. What we know of them are these are people of conscience. They are mixed. Socioeconomically, racial, gender. This is a very mixed group, but people of conscience. Now, let us say each one of those people who came has at least one other people in their sphere of influence. Husband, wife, children of voting age. So let us say if we can keep them organized as a block of conscience and we can get them to the polls, that's 30,000 people. Some of those people are Kentucky. This is a regional, we have organized regionally. Some of these people are from Kentucky, but what would you do with 30,000 votes? How many votes did you lose by?
223.
If we can corral these consciences into votes, that is an enormous voting bloc. How do we do that? How do we translate coming to a party, essentially, is what the Women's March is. Come to a party. Lots of your friends are going to be here. It'll be a friendly space, you know. There won't be alcohol. There will not be the threat of violence, really, although there's an implied violence from, you know, racists and et cetera. There's open carry in this state. You can show up with your guns, whatever, but how do we get those people to the polls? And this is just really my idea, and I want you to tell me how to do this. Because there they sit, 15,000 people, let's say that's 30,000 people. Now I know, anecdotally, because we run this Facebook page of 9,000 people talk to each other on the regular, really. And we know from the first rush of the Women's March in 2017 that an enormous amount of those people said, this is the first time in my life I am standing up for something, and I'm standing up for myself as women. But by no means are these only women in this group. It is very mixed. They also said, I am doing this so that I don't feel alone, because I am the only one in my family that feels this way. So let's assume that those 15,000 people who showed up, who have one other person, 30,000 people, that's 30,000 families being represented who have voters within their sphere of influence who might be voting against their own self-interest because they have been sold, let's go back to Adbusters, they have been sold this narrative that this strong man is going to provide them with protections against those people, whoever those people are. This is a sales job, I'm going to call it a con job, that's been sold on these voters who are not considered human beings. These are customers. So this block of people, this, however you were going to cut the voting, population who votes, enrolled voters, however they identify themselves. I think the numbers from this past election are that 60% of eligible voters voted. Does anyone, does that number? You say 27?
Well, the turnout in 2017 was the lowest